So hello, and as the end of this crazy week of the Geneva Motor Show being cancelled comes to an end, I am filming my final car of the week. Welcome to Bentley Motors in Crewe, Cheshire, and welcome to the new Mulliner Bacalar. Now, normally on this channel, the numbers that I share with you are surrounded around the performance of a car. And while this car is still underpinned by the phenomenal W12 engine that Bentley produce, the numbers on this car are surrounding the details. The other thing that I'm about to share with you as well is the fascinating facts and figures surrounding some of the optional extras in this car as well. Now, because I'm slightly later to the party sharing this car with you, I also reached out to you guys on Instagram to come up with the questions that would direct effectively the review of this car. So after I've highlighted the headline figures, we're then going to cut to some of the best questions asked on Instagram, and effectively you guys are going to be producing this review. So starting with some crazy figures that surround this car. 1.5, that would be million £1,000,000 before local taxes. 12 is the amount of Bacalars being made. Also 12, coincidentally, just how many cylinders the W12 engine has. The bi-turbo has now been uprated to develop 650 horsepower and 667 pounds-feet of torque. It will go on to do over 200 miles per hour on 22-inch wheels, which now sit 20 millimeters wider than a Continental GT. 5,000, that isn't a number that I would normally throw around with a car, but this wooden veneer here just so happens to be from river wood sourced from a 5,000-year-old piece of wood. It's bonkers stuff. And then finally, 148,199. You're probably going to have no idea where that number comes from, but it's all to do with the incredibly intricate stitching on the seat that I find myself in. And that number is associated with both seats. So as a spot of context, there is some mind-blowing detail that has gone into this car. And actually, that's what this car is all about. The purpose of it is to effectively relaunch Mulliner as a coach building platform for Bentley. So it just so happens that this brand is the oldest established coach building brand in the world. It dates back to the 1500s. Try and wrap your head around that. They originally started out as a saddlers. It just so happens that the 1500s is also dated around about the same time as the Bronze Age. And if you look around this car, that's why there are a lot of conveniently beautiful bronze accents on both the interior and the exterior. So how it worked back in the day, your discerning gentleman would typically go out and source the components himself. So you would buy the chassis from somebody, you would buy the engine from somebody else, and then you would take those components to a coach builder, in this case Mulliner. What you would do then is ask them to build the bodywork that would drape over your chassis and engine in order to create your truly unique and dream car. Now it turns out that Bentley have come full circle, and that's the point of relaunching Mulliner as a brand, and they're launching it with this car, the Bacalar. So I think in order to set some context, you guys have actually asked some fascinating questions. So I'm going to jump straight into Instagram. And while I'm sharing the answers to your questions, I shall also drape this review in some disproportionately sexy B-roll to immerse you in the details of this remarkable car. Okay, so when I announced this on Instagram, I did say that I would also shout out the Instagram account who asked the question. I think within about 2 hours, we had around 150 questions. So we've skimmed through them and tried to pick out the ones that are either the most interesting or will set the most context or bring you the most value and insight into this remarkable machine. So first off, and forgive me if I'm pronouncing your convoluted Instagram handles incorrectly, but here we go. So from Dons and Nostra, anyway, the link's down there. What makes this car worth £1.5 million? So there's many reasons, namely surrounding the very limited production number that surrounds this car. So 12 cars means that there's no economies of scale to benefit from. Unlike a more mass-produced car where the more components you can create, the more the cost per component comes down, and therefore everyone benefit from those cost savings. Making 12 of these from incredibly exotic fabrics and carbon fiber and 5,000-year-old driftwood makes this car incredibly expensive indeed. Simply the amount of labor and hand craftsmanship that goes into creating these cars alone makes it disproportionately expensive. But take, for example, this riverwood that everyone seems to be captivated by. As a spot of context, this veneer here is 63 times more expensive per square centimetre than the next most expensive material in the car. And that's just an example of one item. You know, we've got handcrafted bronze, we have this wool here, which has been sourced from a rare breed of sheep in the United Kingdom, and the list goes on and on and on. And because they're all effectively created in a bespoke manner on such a small run, let's not beat around the bush, that makes it disproportionately expensive. I think as well the front wings and the rear is also made of carbon fibre. The headlights, for example, are entirely bespoke to this car. From the other side of the car world, to homologate a bespoke headlight is ridiculously expensive, and that's okay if you're building lots of cars, but when you're making 12, that cost has to be inherently offset into the car itself. So it's incredibly exclusive, and that's a real USP and intrigue around owning a car like this, is the chances are you're probably not going to pull up alongside anyone else at a set of traffic lights in another Bacalar. And so all of these things add up to making it a very expensive and therefore exclusive proposition. So, next question. Are they really all sold out from Anytime Spy? Yes, they are. All 12, they have been accounted for. Production, I believe, starts at the end of this year, and deliveries will begin next year in 2021. So no doubt there's lots of car shows happening this year. If the virus doesn't wipe us all out, maybe we'll see it somewhere else. But until we actually see a finished production car, I think we are looking at sometime in 2021. But yes, amazingly, they were actually all pre-sold. Okay, next up from @MonierGuson1. Why the name Bacalar? Bacalar is actually the name of a resplendent lagoon in Mexico. Simply put, this is to associate it with something that is beautiful and natural wonder. So Bacalar it is. Interestingly, if you didn't know, the naming format of taking iconic natural wonders has also followed suit in the Bentley SUV, the Bentayga. That was actually inspired by the name of a mountain in Gran Canaria. Okay, something about the practicality, if you could remotely associate the word practical with this car, but we have from Phil_Hassan, does it have a boot? None of the other reviews showed it. This car actually will have a boot when it goes into production. However, this is a pre-production car. While we're speaking about the topic of pre-productions, you would actually be forgiven for thinking that this is a prototype or a concept car. No, as I mentioned in the previous question, this is going into production. Kind of around about 95 to 99% of what you're seeing here will ultimately end up on the road, which is remarkable. But boot, there will be one. It's sealed or doesn't exist on this car because it's a pre-production car, but also behind the seats here there is additional storage space, and you also have the optional extra of some bespoke luggage to match the interior of your car. Pretty cool stuff. Okay, next up from James Aylmahall. Where did the design inspiration come from? So, funny you should say that. Little under 6 months ago, I actually filmed a car here at Bentley called the EXP 100. That was very much a prototype, a concept, a look to the future of where Bentley see the design language and technology of their cars heading. But incredibly, a lot of the inspiration, the DNA and design language from EXP 100, which is very much in heavy concept stage, has filtered its way down into Bacalar, which is remarkable for a car that was launched, sort of towards the end of last year. The designers of this car are incredibly proud that they've managed to inherit design language from EXP 100 and fit it to this car. I'm sure you can see it pretty evidently, particularly from the front and also from the materials inside this car. Going back to that 5,000-year-old wood and even the bronze, these are elements that were used in EXP 100. So while it does have its own design ethos, there's definitely a lot of inspiration been taken from that concept car. Okay, Repley Steel with 3 E's, TJE. Where is the 5,000-year-old Riverwood source? This is becoming a theme, isn't it? People seem to be latching on to this feature. It was actually sourced in the UK. It was from the ancient fenlands of East Anglia. Anyone outside of the UK not familiar with our geography, East Anglia is on the east coast, and it is famous for its sort of low-lying plains and beaches. And yeah, so it was sourced from there. Actually, Bentley bought their own piece, so it's not like they've outsourced it from anyone else. They have bought in raw wood. It's actually incredible how much work, just how hands-on Bentley are in crafting their own veneers. They literally went out, sourced their own wood, and have created it and spliced it into this car here. So yeah, it's the real deal. So there we have it, the Bentley Mulliner Bacalar. Now, just to recap, the whole point and purpose of this car is to relaunch the coach building aspect of the Bentley brand. Going back, tracing the roots of history. This is the first installment in that new launch. So the chances are that we'll be seeing some other very bespoke and very limited edition cars in the near future from Bentley. So very exciting chapter for Bentley indeed. Let me know if you have any thoughts, questions, or comments. Let me know again in the comment section below. Chances are we'll be seeing a lot more from this brand soon. As always, thank you so much for watching, and we shall see you next time. Ciao!